Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day everyone, my name is Alya Widharaksi Ardhiawangsa, a student from Conflict Resolution in Islamic World class. In this great occasion, I would like to explain my understanding by the topic Conflict Resolution of Armenia and Azerbaijan towards Nagorno-Karabakh dispute. First of all, I would like to explain about the background of the conflict. Well, in the 1920s, the Soviet government established the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Region where the 95% of the population is ethnically Armenian within Azerbaijan region. Under the Bolshevik rule, its fighting between the two countries was kept, but as Soviet Union began to collapse, so did its grip on Armenia and Azerbaijan. In 1988, the Nagorno-Karabakh legislative passed a resolution to join Armenia despite the region's legal location within Azerbaijan's border. As the Soviet Union was dissolving in 1991, the autonomous region officially declared its independence, and then the war erupted between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the region, there leaving roughly 30,000 casualties and hundreds of thousands refugees. By 1993, Armenia controlled Nagorno-Karabakh and occupied 20% of the surrounding Azerbaijani territory, while in 1994, Russia brokered the ceasefire which has remained in place since. The Nagorno-Karabakh has been frozen conflict for more than a decade, but artillery shelling and minor conflict between Armenian and Azerbaijani troops have caused hundreds of deaths. Early in April 2016, it witnessed the most intense fighting since 1994, killing dozens and resulting in more than 300 casualties. After 4 days of fighting, the two sides announced that they had agreed on a new ceasefire. However, a breakdown in talks was followed by repeated ceasefire violations and tensions remain high. Till now, the negotiations and mediation efforts, primarily led by the Minsk Group, have failed to produce a permanent solution to the conflict. The Minsk Group, a mediation effort that led by Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, was created in 1994 to address the dispute and is co-chaired by the US, France, and also Russia. The co-chairs organize summits between the leaders of the two countries and hold individual meetings. The group has successfully negotiated ceasefires, but the territorial issues remain unaddressable as ever. In October 2017, the presidents of Armenia and Azerbaijan met in Geneva under the auspices of the Minsk Group, the beginning stages of talk on a possible settlement of the conflict. However, the talks have yet to produce concrete results because Azerbaijani and ethnic Armenian military forces are positioned close to each other and have little to communication. But the two sides also have domestic political interests that could cause the Caucasus leaders to launch an attack. Next is I'm going to explain about the analysis of the conflict. In explaining the conflict situation that occurred in Nagorno-Karabakh, there are two main arguments. First, the attitude of Azerbaijan's refusal to grant recognition of independence for Nagorno-Karabakh. This is because the Soviet Union has given the Nagorno-Karabakh region de facto as an official part of Azerbaijan, and since 1923 it has been recognized internationally. The second argument, Armenia assumes that there is self-determination toward the existence of ethnic Armenians, and therefore Armenia provides support for the Nagorno-Karabakh region of its independence from Azerbaijan. Also, there are two categories of actors that involved in this Nagorno-Karabakh dispute. The first sector is the primary actor, namely parties that directly involved in the conflict. In this context, they are Nagorno-Karabakh, Azerbaijan, and Armenia. The second actor is a party that is not directly involved in the continuation of the conflict. There are several countries that provide support to parties of the conflict, which are in here, Russia and Turkey. Well, geographically, Turkey is located directly on the border of Armenia. However, they do not have formal diplomatic relations, and on the other hand, Turkey fully gives support to the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan and its sovereignty over Nagorno-Karabakh region. And here, Turkey was the first country that recognized Azerbaijan as a sovereign state after its declaration of independence in 1991. In here, as we can see, that it is obvious that Turkey directly participates in supporting Azerbaijan within an international dispute, even affecting geopolitical stability in one region. During the 30 years of Nagorno-Karabakh dispute from Armenia and Azerbaijan, Russia has been involved in mediating the conflict. Well, this time, Azerbaijan briefly regained control over Nagorno-Karabakh, especially without strong support from Turkey. If the conflict escalates, the leading role in the conflict could lead to a diplomatic crisis with Russia. If the conflicting parties do not come to a truce, Turkey and Russia could fall into another proxy war in Nagorno-Karabakh region. In here, Turkey has supported Azerbaijan in the Nagorno-Karabakh dispute with Ankara's foreign policy tighter and attempts to establish itself as a regional power which has recently held a stronger position. Nagorno-Karabakh is an opportunity for Turkey to project its power beyond Russian power. Turkey is one of Azerbaijan's closest allies due to the linguistic, cultural, and also religious and historical ties. Over the years, Ankara has provided training to Azerbaijani military forces and supplied military equipment. Azerbaijan, in return, needs Turkey's support to regain its lost lands from Armenia. Turkey and Armenia have not had any formal relationship since the beginning of Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, while in May 2020, Azerbaijan officially became Turkey's top natural gas supplier, especially since Ankara is actively trying to reduce its energy imports from Russia and gain more resources in its pursuit of foreign policy in Middle East and Caucasus. It means that this creates an excellent opportunity for Azerbaijan to gain more support in the ongoing Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. By supporting for Azerbaijan is part of Turkey's quest for a proper place in the world order. This is in line with the pattern of foreign policy of Middle Eastern, and Mediterranean countries as a whole. At a time when major world powers are plagued by international problems, economic problems, and also lack of active leadership, the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict giving Turkey a chance. And in this environment, Turkey is very openly promoting a change in the status quo of Nagorno-Karabakh. Turkey and Armenia have not had a formal relationship since the beginning of the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict 30 years ago. Well, in May 2020, Azerbaijan is officially become Turkey's top natural gas supplier, especially since Ankara is actively trying to reduce its energy imports from Russia and gain more resources in its pursuit of foreign policy in the Middle East and Caucasus. This means that it also creates an excellent opportunity for Azerbaijan to gain more support in the ongoing Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. The support for Azerbaijan is part of Turkey's quest for a proper place in the world order. This is in line with the pattern of foreign policy of Middle Eastern and Mediterranean countries as a whole. At a time when major world powers are plagued by international problems, economic problems, and also lack of active leadership, the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is giving Turkey a chance. While in this environment, Turkey is very openly promoting a change in the status quo of Nagorno-Karabakh. The next thing, I am going to explain about the conflict resolution of Nagorno-Karabakh dispute. So in an effort to mediate the conflict that occurred between Armenia and Azerbaijan, Russia can be said to be fulfilling its role and its responsibility as a mediator of Nagorno-Karabakh. It can be said that Russia is actively and positively involved, but on the other hand, Russia also has potential to trigger the tensions between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The tensions, threats of using force as a means by solving problems, increasing military budgets, and violations of the truce can be exacerbated by the news and reports circulating about the shipment of Russian weapons to Armenia and Azerbaijan. Armenia and Azerbaijan signed a truce agreement initiated by Russia on November 10, 2020. Since September, this has ended a deadly 6-week war. The truce was signed by Russian President, Azerbaijan President, and also Armenian Prime Minister to withdraw from Nagorno-Karabakh to be replaced by Russian peacekeeping forces. However, under the agreement, Armenia is required to return from Nagorno-Karabakh to Azerbaijan. This also creates new threats and destabilizes the region. Due to Turkish authorities that demanding continued military operation in Nagorno-Karabakh, the Armenian government attached importance to the presence of Russian troops in Nagorno-Karabakh area, while Turkey denied any military presence in the conflict zone. From this, in my opinion, that the encouragement of Ankara to send Turkish troops in the Nagorno-Karabakh region has created a new dispute with Moscow, and likewise, under the agreement, Azerbaijan and Armenia will stop at their current locations and exchange prisoners of war and will deploy nearly 2,000 Russian peacekeepers to Nagorno-Karabakh. Russia has sent more than 1,000 peacekeepers and 1,000 military and support equipment to the region. After Armenia and Azerbaijan signed the agreement, Russia confirmed Turkey will not participate in the Russian peacekeeping force station on the Nagorno-Karabakh road. Other regional and global powers are also demanding control over the situation, as Iran, Georgia, and Qatar offered to mediate the conflict. On September 29, 2020, the United Nations Security Council meeting emphasized the main role of OSCE Minsk Group and the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe, which was initiated by France, Russia, and US to mediate the conflict. However, it will be a challenge to focus sufficient international attention and commitment on reform diplomacy. This fighting was caused by the global pandemic and also US elections at that time, which could destabilize the international affairs through the capture of important territories by Azerbaijan of the suppression of Azerbaijan action. Peace progress in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Armenia and Azerbaijan, also Russia, say that they had signed agreement to end military conflict in the region. The climax of the conflict lasted more than a month, causing bloodshed from the two camps. Armenian Prime Minister was the first to announce that signing via social media on November 10, 2020. The Kremlin and Azerbaijan president issued a similar announcement. The trilateral sign will be an important point in the resolution of the conflict. The guard forces of Russian peace will be deployed along the front line in Nagorno-Karabakh as well as in the corridor between the region and Armenia. This decision that was made based on an in-depth analysis of the battle situation and also in discussion with the best experts on the ground. The fighting has raised fears of a wider regional war. The Turkey supports its ally Azerbaijan, while Russia has a defense pact with Armenia and military bases in the country. Last but not least, the next is about the conclusion. To sum up about the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, I will explain about the conclusion. So after a long tense, the Azerbaijani government confirmed total death toll was more than 2,000 and Armenian army stated the same, many deaths, as well as hundreds of soldiers who were missing and were still in medical care. Not only that, large amounts of material losses also befell both parties. However, on December 4, 2020, the Turkish Export Union released data stating that the number of military exports to Ankara and Azerbaijan increased by 600% during 2020. From the discussion, the results show that there are interdependence, common goals, and interests between countries that cause the alignment of Turkey to be shown openly. It also considered that Nagorno-Karabakh conflict shows that Armenia and Azerbaijan maintain each other's position and try to keep their allies as visible forces. This also confirms that the truce that has been carried out is still causing competition between the two sides, namely in terms of economic recovery and allies that need international recognition as an influential force in the current world order. As we all know, Russia is a superpower that wants to always be the first and to be very competitive. Therefore, although the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is considered to have subsided for now, in my opinion, I believe that the new disputes will emerge in the near future because Turkey and Russia interest. There is even the possibility of damaging the diplomatic relations between two countries. I think that's all about my explanations towards the conflict of Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia and Azerbaijan disputes. Thank you for your nice attention and thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.